When I redeemed myself about a year ago, or maybe more, I failed the world easiest test. Today I'm going to try. Today I am going to redeem myself. I'm actually not done. For all of you that think I am, I'm not. We have 17 tricky riddles. Test how far you will go. I'm guessing I'll go to the end because I'm not done. Let's get to it.
A lake island. Mary is stranded on an island in the middle of an enormous deep lake. She can't swim and doesn't have a boat. The nearest town is on the shore 5 miles away from her. All she has is 3 ropes. Each of them are 2 feet long. 3 hours later, Mary reaches the town. How did she manage to escape from the island?
She tied the rope together and used ice as her boat and threw the rope across.
Well, it's winter and the lake is frozen. Mary simply crossed the lake on the ice.
I was not paying attention.
Traveler. James was traveling by train with only a light backpack full of money. He was going to help his mom buy a car. On the train, he got acquainted with Mr. Brown. The 2 men had a nice chat, but then James dozed off. When the train arrived at James Station, Mr. Brown was nowhere to be seen. James picked up his backpack, and although it looked exactly like his, there was no money inside. The bag was filled with screws and nails. James rushed after Mr. Brown and saw the man carrying an identical backpack. After James called over a police officer, Mr. Brown explained that he had taken the wrong backpack by mistake. The police officer still arrested him. Why?
Because he stole the backpack. How can he think they were on 2 different chairs? We went and switched the bag. What? Was there money in the bag? Hold on, what?
Mr. Brown couldn't mix up the backpacks because the one filled with nails and screws had to be way heavier than the one with the money. An unfriendly shop owner. Jacob owned an electronics store in a small town. One day, a massive crowd of people showed up, and no wonder. A new $1,000 gaming console had just hit the shelves. Jacob was swamped with sales from morning till late evening. Just as he was about to close, a man rushed in to make a purchase. He asked for a console and handed Jacob 2 bills. He had enough money to buy the console, and he didn't even need change. But the store owner immediately called the police. Why?
Because the bag looks like it's something that came from the bank that I stole it.
The console cost $1,000, but the man gave Jacob only 2 bills. It means they were worth $500 each, and those don't exist.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Bro, how the hell? So why did...
Bill and Joe are twins, born just 1 minute apart, with Bill being the older of the 2. But for some reason, they celebrate their birthdays 2 days apart once every several years. How is this 1 minute apart, with Bill being the older of the 2? But for some reason, they celebrate their birthdays 2. Bill and Joe are twins, born just 1 minute apart, with Bill being the older of the 2. But for some reason, they celebrate their birthdays 2 days apart once every several years. How is this possible?
He's not the twin. He said he's not part of the twin. The twins are like his brother, his siblings. So he's like older.
What do you mean by that?
Bill was born at 11:59 p.m. on February 28th.
Hold on, bro.
It was a leap year. So Joe...
I was thinking about it when I heard the question at first, but leap year did not come to my head.
Born on March 1st.
Bro, this is dumb.
That's why during leap years, they have 2 days of difference. Dangerous escape. Jack is locked in a room with 2 doors and no windows. There's nothing inside but a chair, a table, and a tiny hole in the ceiling. Behind the first door, there's a venomous snake. The second door leads to a glass tunnel that magnifies sunlight. If Jack steps inside, he won't survive the blazing temperatures. How can the man escape?
I'm using the chair to stone the snake. I'm using this chair or the table as an umbrella.
Jack has to wait until it's dark outside. He can check it through the hole in the ceiling and lead through the glass tunnel. A magic ball. You throw a ball as hard as you can. It doesn't bounce off anything, and there's nobody else there but you. Yet this ball still comes straight back into your hands. How can this be?
I didn't get the question. I'm trying to guess. There's a magnet in the ball, and it's attracted to your head.
If you throw the ball straight up, it will eventually fall back down. Anne's bizarre food preferences. Anne likes tomatoes, but not potatoes. She eats grapes, but not lettuce. She loves peas, but can't stand onions. She can eat cucumbers, but avoids carrots. Can you figure out if this picky girl prefers apples or pumpkins?
Hold on, they say she eats what, but not cucumber. Sorry, my bad.
She can eat cucumbers, but avoids carrots. Can you figure out if this picky girl prefers apples or pumpkins?
Apples. I must get one at least. I'm not done, guys. Stop!
Anne will always choose a good orange pumpkin because she only eats fruits and veggies that grow on a vine. Philosophy student's conundrum. You're a student.
Bro, I'm sweating
and you
right
have
now.
An important philosophy exam today. Big stress. You, like most of your peers, haven't attended many classes or learned anything this semester. When you come to the exam, the teacher puts a chair in the center of the classroom and says, "None of you learn my subject, so everyone will have the same chance to pass it. See this chair? Write evidence that it doesn't exist. The person who convinces me of this will pass." Now,
Bro, what kind of dumbass 5th grade teacher is this? The chair exists. Why are you trying to teach the children that the chair doesn't exist?
aside the fact that the teacher sounds just like the spook in the first question, what should you write to ace the exam?
The chair doesn't exist. That's what I'm writing. It doesn't exist. Because it's dark.
The correct answer is, what chair? A dangerous fall. Mary was standing on an 80-foot-long ladder with a bucket of paint. Don't ask me why. Suddenly,
Why?
she slipped from the ladder and fell to the ground. But besides spilling all the paint, she didn't get injured at all. How come?
She landed on her leg. And she landed on her leg.
The ladder was lying on the ground. A tough choice. There are only 2 barbers in town. One has neatly cut hair and a clean workplace. The other's hair is wild, and his salon is pretty dirty. Which one should you choose to give you a haircut?
The one that is dirty, because she knows that's bad. She has many customers, but I want to stay because this one is cleaner.
Choose the second barber. If there are only 2 of them in town, they have to give haircuts to each other. Also, the mess in the second salon might mean the
I didn't actually hear what they said.
barber's too busy serving customers to clean up.
I didn't hear the 2 are the only ones in town. I mean, I was still right. I picked one.
Richard was returning home
Thomas
after a
Riddle.
long day at work. He was walking through the park when he heard footsteps behind, and everything went dark. He woke up in a well. Luckily, there wasn't too much water in it. But as soon as Richard tried to climb out of the well, he realized that the walls were too slippery. He then noticed a rope with a bucket tied to it. The bucket was hanging pretty low, but try as he might, poor Richard couldn't reach it.
Are you dumb? Jump! That's the only way out. You're doing like this, you can't reach what?
In some thought, though, he found the solution. Just 15 minutes later, he was out and running to safety. Can you deduce how Richard escaped?
He shouted at the person and told him to drop it lower, or he jumped, or he ran on the wall and jumped on it.
He took his shoes off and threw them into the bucket one by one. The added weight brought the bucket down, and Richard
Bro, why you wearing metal shoes?
managed to escape. A menacing house. Michael got lost when he was mushroom hunting. Yeah, those wily mushrooms are full of cunning. After hours of trying to find his way out of the woods, he came across a house that seemed to be deserted. He decided to try his luck and ask for directions. When he entered the house, the door slammed behind his back.
Hold on, why would you go into that house when that's the only house? Bro, some people are just dumb. I'd rather walk than enter the house.
Bang. He heard an eerie voice.
You've entered my home uninvited, and you won't leave it easily.
Michael found himself in a room with 3 doors. The voice sounded again.
Only one of these doors leads to freedom. Behind the
Yo,
first, you'll
what's the
find
rats doing?
starving wolves who won't think twice about making you their dinner. The second door hides millions of venomous spiders. If you open the third door, you'll be met by a raging fire.
I'm going to wait for the fire to calm down, then enter. Or I'm going to enter the spider's house and I'll walk like this.
Bruh.
So the spider won't be able to
Choose
bite me or see
wisely.
me.
You have only 7 seconds
Or the
to
wolf will have
find
been
your
dead.
way to freedom.
The wolf will have been dead. Come on. I mean, I can enter any of them. I'm
Michael
putting that
should
wolf to
choose the
sleep.
third door. He'll then just need to wait until the fire goes out.
Yes!
Tricky man.
Yes!
How many times
I'm
can
not
you
dumb.
subtract 2 from 50? Then just need to wait until the fire
I'm not
goes
dumb,
out.
guys. Let's go.
Tricky math. How many times can you subtract 2 from 50?
$25. Come on, I'm a mathematician, bro.
Yes, sir.
Nobody
yes,
on the
sir.
planet.
Yes, sir.
Only once. After that, you'd be subtracting it from 48. The power of prediction. Mr. Jenkins doesn't have any superpowers, but he can predict the score of any football match before it begins. How?
He's using juju. Hold on, what? You ask the
You
cheerleaders.
could do that kind of prediction too. The score of any football match before it begins is 0-0.
Not funny. Life is not fair.
Particularly heavy
This video is not fair. Because I'm not dumb.
Daniel went outside and discovered that there was twice as much snow in his yard as in his neighbor's. But Daniel didn't look surprised.
Yeah, there was a nice guy that showed me
Still.
a treat in front of his
How
house.
come? Tried to outside and discovered that there was twice as much snow in his yard as in his neighbor's. But Daniel didn't look surprised at all. How come?
Because he
Try
was
to
building a
shovel
snow
your way
house.
to the truth in the next 7 seconds.
He was building a snow house while they were cleaning their house. And his house is closer to his house is
There's no
taller.
mystery to this whatsoever. Daniel's yard is 2 times bigger than his neighbor's. Penny riddle. Why are 1990 pennies worth more than 1989 pennies?
Because it's older. It's younger. It's fresh. Because they're not the same thing.
Well, for the same reason why 10 pennies are worth more than 9. These are not years, but the number of pennies. An unlucky skydiver. Nick was an experienced skydiver, but one day, something went terribly wrong. A storm
Hell nah. I'm planning on going skydiving. After hearing this, I don't think so.
him into the forest, and the man found himself among dense trees with no food or water. Soon, Nick saw 4 roads in front of him. One led to a supermassive black hole that was swallowing everything around. The second ended up in a
no.
river full of piranhas. The third road led to
What's
mountains
piranhas?
that were impossible to climb. And the fourth road ended in an infinite abyss. Which path
Hell
should
no.
Nick take?
You should take the road to the broken whatever, because if there's a road there, it's not, you get what I'm saying. And if you reach and it's broken, you cannot jump. or you climb the mountains, or you enter the water and swim, Thomas.
He should follow the third road. No one said he had to climb over the mountains. He
Bro,
could
this is
simply
dumb.
go up.
The same way no one said you have to pass that. Well, if you enjoyed that video, I'm out.